Welcome to North Branch, Minnesota for the Terracross Midwest Nationals presented by Polaris Razor. Hi everyone, Tess Sewell here alongside Grant Langston, and we're here in a field in Minnesota with 40,000 snowmobile fans, and this is just an unbelievable sight to see, Grant.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that the biggest snowmobile event goes during the summer, but it brings out a huge crowd every year.
Well, to see a little bit more of the track that's in store for us today, let's head down to the third member of our team, Georgia Lindsay.
Now this just gives you an absolute idea of the perspective of how deep and steep some of these obstacles are. Coming down this sandy hill and hitting straight up, not knowing what is going to be on the other side and getting air while you're at it. The riders seem to really enjoy these technical obstacles on the course.
Speaking of the track, let's take a look at it here. First thing, you go over the Optima start line, through the rollers into turn one. First of the split lanes into another right-hander. Then you'll come into the only left on the track, another split lane, double 90 right. And then this is where you also get the split lane into this big gully, turn right over the Fly Racing finish line. That's a lap here at Hades.
A tight, technical track out here in North Branch today. And to hear more about what this track means, let's hear from a few of our athletes.
Such a short track, you've got to do a track walk. You've got to look at every line, every rut, every corner.
It's pretty similar to last year. They added in some more like tree trunks and K-rails and stuff, and those just honestly beat you up.
You're really testing the equipment and how quick you are to react. The track changes every lap, so when you come into a corner, it's not the same as the lap before. The groove that you were just in, somebody could have crossed it.
Once you've been doing it long enough, you can kind of pick out, you know, okay, I can do that step on, step off, or I can do that double right out of the corner into the double or the triple.
Like in Mario Kart or something, right? You think you can hit that banana and get that start and jump that jump. It's kind of the same thing in Terracross. It's kind of imagining what you can do and then just going after it.
Starting off today with the Pro-Am Razor XP 1000 class, and right down in the mix on the start line is our very own Georgia Lindsay, and she's caught up with rookie racer Darren Meese.
Darren Meese qualifying first, but coming into your first ever Terracross, how are you feeling on the gate?
I feel great. I'm really excited to be doing this.
And what are you expecting out of yourself?
I'm going to try and win it.
And, you got any nerves right now, or?
Yeah, I'm nervous. I still need some practice in these things. I'm definitely nervous, but very excited.
Well, best of luck on your first Terracross. Thank you.
Well, he seemed a little bit nervous there, Grant, but obviously as a rookie qualifying first in the class, I think he's got a target on his back.
Oh, absolutely. That's exactly where you want to be. Front row inside gives you the best position to get a good start. And we know it can be tough at times to pass on these tight technical tracks. Sometimes you got to wait for a mistake, but couldn't have had it any better being on pole position.
So Meese is on that inside line. Wow, gets a good jump, but a problem there off the start.
Ross Robinson battling to get away, and oh, that caused a bit of a bottleneck there.
Allowed Meese to get out in front, and there you see how far back Robinson is.
Wow, you can see early on in the race, the track rough still from practice early and qualifying, and they're throwing down a lot of water, and oh, and a problem for the 18, Darren Meese. He stalls it there, gets it running quickly, only losing one position. That could have been a whole lot worse.
On board now with Darren Meese over that big flyweight jump, and he's pulled off the side of the track. Obviously, bigger problems than just a stall, Grant.
Yeah, he looks like he's trying to rejoin. Not sure exactly what happened there, but whoa, talk about going from good to bad in just a matter of seconds. So that now hands the lead over to Andy Ives. He's looking smooth and already building up a slight gap. That's that big gully they've been going through where we talk about the drivers being completely blind coming out the other side.
Great onboard shots here from Andy Ives as we see Darren Meese pulling off the track. Unfortunate for him in his rookie race, out of the race, off the side of the track. Andy Ives, though, has a commanding lead over Jeff Skase at the moment. Ives, of course, is a Polaris engineer, so he knows these machines inside and out.
Oh, and look at that maneuver up the inside from Pluff. That basically, we call that in motocross a perfectly executed block pass. Puts himself in that number 2 position. Oh, and over goes the 124 of Skase. That's probably going to bring out a caution right there. Look here, it just turns in that soft dirt. And you heard the driver saying earlier, this track changes with each and every lap. And when you're on the limit, once these things bicycle, very hard to pull it back around.
Coming up out of the Sedona Tire Ripsaw Ridge in second place now, that is Jason Plouffe, but he is still chasing down a big margin between himself and Andy Ives, who's leading.
Well, the good thing, though, is at least he's got clear track. He's got no one hounding him, so he can take the lines he wants to, get into his rhythm. That really helps sometimes, because you can tell this track, it's very hard to stay in rhythm. All these whoops a little breaking up unevenly, so really throwing these UTVs around. And another one out.
Ross Robinson pulls off the track. He is done. So Mies and Robinson out of the race. You're now watching second place Jason Plouffe, and look at how hard that Polaris RZR is working. And what you have to know is that these are virtually bone stock machines that you could buy off the shop floor. It's just astounding how much punishment they can take.
Oh, they certainly do. And that's why the sport's been growing. It's very fun. It's also relatively affordable for these guys, and a lot of sponsors getting on board. A really great growing series. Ives out front. Now we have a look at the number 4 trying to negotiate this. You could call it a rhythm section, but they look a little out of rhythm, and the front tires going over the burn there. That could have been costly, but able to pull it back around and still launching over that step up, step down.
And you can see as he comes around the corner here, the track now getting divided into those split lanes, but you end up with these great shelves of dirt that if you lean a little too hard against them, they're going to put you on your side or on your roof.
Yeah, we've seen that already in this race. So for Ives right now, comfortable gap, leading at about 7 seconds last lap around. Doesn't want to make any mistakes, but you can also get yourself in a little bit of trouble if you back off too much, because all of a sudden, well, your rhythm goes away. But Ives right now looks like he's got this track dialed.
So our Pro-Am RZR XP 1000 will continue. Great racing here from North Branch, Minnesota. When we come back, can Andy Ives hold off the charge?
Terracross on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Polaris RZR. Fuel your freedom. By FlyRacing.com. And by Lucas Oil. Made in America, sold to the world.
Welcome back, everyone, to the WPS Fly Racing Terracross Midwest National presented by Polaris RZR. Fun out on the Traxxas test track there here at Heydays. 40,000 people gather for the biggest snowmobile event in the world. And yes, it happens in the summer. Well, Andy Ives leading out this race right now as we're getting ready for the restart. But we sat down with Andy earlier to catch up.
You know, Terracross is taking production vehicles, putting on a track, and racing head-to-head. It's not about, you know, how much money you have or, you know, how much time you have to set up your car. It's really a level playing field for everybody. You can jump in the car, everybody's at the same advantage or disadvantage, and you can use a race head-to-head. The partnership between Terracross and Polaris has been awesome. We're as an engineer at Polaris, we meet on the weekends, we race, we ride. But during the week, you know, it's really about iterating and trying to make a better design. So it's been really awesome with the partnership here to be able to go out there, understand what people can do and how they can, you know, break parts or, you know, their feedback, what they have from other avenues, whether it's racing or trail riding or just, you know, hanging out with their buddies, and taking that back to the vehicle. And every time we iterate that vehicle, making it better for the next guy.
So there is Andy Ives sitting on the start line, ready for the restart. Grant, you think being an engineer gives him a technical advantage, even though these are stock machines?
Hey, I've always said knowledge is the key. The more you know, the better it's going to help you out. We go green flag racing, second half of this race. And look at this. Already trying to sneak up the inside is the 752 of Plouffe. This is the best opportunity to do it. Is right off the restart when everyone's bunched up. That gap that Ives had erased. And this section really throwing these guys off. Oh!
Plouffe is trying for the inside there. It looks like he may have the advantage, but Ives is going to have the inside on this tight 180 corner.
Oh, great racing then, and kudos to these guys for keeping it clean. That could have gotten a little bit ugly, side-by-side racing on this tight track. normally doesn't last very long, but look at this. They've been going side by side for over half a lap. Ives now grabs it back.
That step up and then step over, that is really hard on the machines. Coming up again out of this giant pit, and Ives now gets the advantage on Jason Plouffe.
You see that Ripsaw Ridge there getting a little uneven as they come out, so throwing these UTVs to one side, making it a little bit difficult for these guys. And the Walker Evan whoops, very technical. This is somewhere where you definitely want to have a good setup with the suspension, throttle control, balance, get through there clean, and then get a great drive over this big step up, step down into this, what would be a little bit tough left-hander. A lot of times these tracks, majority right-handers. But fortunately, you've got the driver with the weight on the inside, so that really helps just balance these UTVs out.
It's interesting to watch just how smoothly Andy Ives is driving this race now. I don't think he's taking the pressure from Plouffe in second place, and now Skase is actually starting to chase down Jason Plouffe to try and take over that second position.
Yes, it is. Oh, you see them coming out of the Ripsaw Ridge, get thrown a little sideways. But Ives driven a great race so far. I think maybe the one little mistake he made there after the restart was leaving that door open when Plouffe was able to go up the inside. But once Ives got that lead back, he's just slowly stretched it out like he did early on. Oh! Wow! What a save there. That could have gone ugly.
It's Skase that manages to actually pull around the corner there, but all over the course. And we'll have to take a look to see if there's any damage to that machine, because he's not exactly riding this track smoothly now.
Yeah, very easy to bend one of these A-arms or tie rods. These are tough machines, these razors, but obviously when you put them through their paces and you stuff it into one of those logs or a face of a jump, something's going to give eventually.
Andy Ives once more across the finish line through the Walker Evans whoops, and he's working his way into the Fox Proving Grounds to really give that suspension a workover. Plouffe, though, not giving up. He is chasing down Andy Ives, not letting him get away with anything.
No, you got to keep the pressure on. You know, the gap may be a few seconds, but hey, one little mistake and that'll erase it. And it's very easy right now to make mistakes, especially as this track deteriorates lap by lap, as we see our E3 spark plugs on board here with Andy Ives, our leader, running his lines. He definitely likes the outside, and I think it sets him up with a nice, straight, good drive into these technical rhythms, and then through here, Ripsaw Ridge, and it's straight, staring at the sky.
Just sky. So you come over that step down, all you see is dirt, and around that left-hander, all you see is sky. But Andy Ives looks like he has got a commanding lead now. Don't know what happened in that last lap to Plouffe, but Ives is managing to pull away, and look how he's working the suspension on that machine.
Yeah, I think Andy Ives is just driving a little bit better pace, keeping it smooth and cutting out the big mistakes, which I think is key. Nice smooth landing, not overdriving it, letting the other guys put the pressure back on them. If you don't make a big mistake, it takes for the drivers behind to start having to really push it to catch up, and that's obviously when it makes it easy, especially late in the race, to make a mistake.
And here we see he's actually slowed his pace down a little bit, so he steps down, he's taking it really easy, and not too much throttle coming up out of the Sedona Tire Ripsaw Ridge. So I think Andy Ives now sees that white flag with one lap to go. He knows he's got this one in the bag if he just doesn't make a mistake.
Yeah, no major mistakes in this last lap, and it should be a done deal. And then for Jason Plouffe, he's driven a good race. Definitely kept Ives honest. But Ives, so far so good. No real big mistakes. He's kept it smooth. Very consistent with his line choice as well. Now only a couple turns away from getting a victory. And like you said earlier, Tess, in front of this huge crowd, really a big moment for a lot of these drivers.
And a big moment for the Polaris engineer turned Terracross racer Andy Ives. He's got to come out of Ripsaw Ridge one more time, make the right-hand turn, and Ives will take the checkered flag, and he will win our Pro-Am final. Great race there for the number 4 Andy Ives.
Solid from start to finish. And then you see Jason Plouffe coming through in second, and Jeff Scape getting that third position.
Let's pop down to Georgia and our winner, Andy Ives.
Andy Ives taking the win in the first race of the day. But Andy, seemed like the first half you had such a good lead, but keeping it on 4 wheels seemed to just be smooth sailing.
Yeah, the track out here is pretty aggressive, so just keeping it on 4 wheels and keeping some good lap times really is what we had to do here to win at Terracross.
And how do you feel about winning the first race? Are you ready for the second now?
Oh yeah, I'm a little out of breath, a little winded. It was kind of dicey there for a while. Guys are tipping over and all that kind of stuff, so we'll take some notes from this round and we'll head into the afternoon here and have some more fun.
All right, congratulations, well done.
Andy Ives taking the first win of the day, and there you see Ives, Pluff, Skase. Unfortunately, Darren Meese, Ross Robinson having to pull out of that race.
Yeah, battle of attrition there. 3 finishes at the end, but solid drive. Let's throw it to Georgia with our second place driver.
Jason Plouffe taking second place in that race. The track, it seems like it's pretty technical out there. How was it for you?
It was good. It was, you know, there's some rough spots, but overall, just riding.
And as far as the track conditions, you know, every year it changes, but what's your thoughts on it?
Great track conditions. Perfect kind of mud, dryness, consistency. Everything was good.
All right, well, congratulations, second place.
Thank you.
Pluff did charge hard there, trying to catch up to Andy Ives, made a mistake close to the end that I think cost him maybe a chance at that win. And in third place, Jeff Skase. Georgia's caught up with him.
Jeff, third place for you in your first ever pro race, as it were. You said these guys are really good, but you stayed with them.
They're definitely really good. I'm learning a lot from being out here. It's great to help understand the riding experience, to learn from the, you know, these real true class professionals. So just an honor to be out here with them.
Well, good job. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Starts with optimism.
Pro-Am is in the books, but we've got lots more racing to come. Coming up next, the Celebrity X Turbo. This one is going to be fun, and a few people you might know at home. Be sure to come back. Welcome back, everyone, to the WPS Fly Racing Terracross Midwest National presented by Polaris Razor from the Heydays event here in North Branch, Minnesota. I'm Tess Sewell alongside Grant Langston, Georgia Lindsay down on the track. Great event here, all kinds of family fun out at Heydays. And we're getting ready now for the Celebrity X Turbo Final. And Georgia is down on the track, and she is caught up with Damon Bradshaw.
Damon Bradshaw taking on Terracross today. 4 wheels. You said you had some practice on the sand dunes this week, but first ever Terracross race. How are you feeling, Damon?
I feel good. You know, the mechanics, man, have worked their butts off, and they got these things ready to go, and we're ready to go out and put on a good show. It's exciting. Excited, ready to get out there and go for it.
Best of luck to you, Damon. And right behind him, we have everybody's favorite redneck, the one, the only, Hubert. Hubert, for you coming out in this race today. You've been on the road constantly, but going up for your first qualifying, how is it out there?
It's a little rough. We're just going to have to try to find the smoothest line and keep my stick horse, keep him safe. That's the biggest thing.
Best of luck, Hubert, checking that out. Look, he's got things attached to his car everywhere.
So I get, is the stick horse the secret weapon, Grant?
Must be. There's got to be some good luck charm in that.
Well, here we look at our Celebrity X Turbo starting lineup. Damon Bradshaw, Brett Turcotte, and then Hubert Rowland. Turcotte, of course, a great snowmobile racer, and he was favored for this, but Bradshaw, incredible, Grant. He's there in that high position, qualifying 1.
Yeah, I can't say I'm too surprised. Green flag, there they go. Bradshaw, someone knowing that he can ride or drive anything. Also been in the Monster Jam world. He's got the outside, but he is side by side. Whoa! How about that?
Oh,
Brett Turcotte, he just launched that. We haven't seen anyone jump that far all day long, and that has now given him the advantage over Damon Bradshaw.
On board right now, the Odyssey battery on board of the Beast from the East, he was called in his motocross career, and you can see how he is working that steering wheel, and there the 0 G's flying over that massive double.
Well, Bradshaw had mentioned he's coming in with limited time behind the wheel, so I think for him, he's going to feel it out. Maybe with his experience, he might not panic soon, but he makes a mistake in that turn, got bogged down.
And that allowed Nate Wessel to go through, so the DeWalt Tools machine of Wessel just cut through on the inside, and there may be Damon Bradshaw's lack of experience here. Oh, wow!
It looked like a little bit of contact there as we take a look at a replay. Watch here. Is there contact? Yes, it is.
Oh,
he catches
yeah.
the rear wheel and sends him over. So Bradshaw, he's going to have to come from the back of the field, not the opening lap he would have wanted.
Damon Bradshaw goes from first to upside down. Oh, and Nate Wessel there. You saw the yellow machine on the right-hand side of the track. He is stopped.
But how about this for Hubert? This has been a great opportunity for him. He's now in the runner-up position after, I think, falling back to about 4th position off the start there. So first lap mayhem, shuffling these guys up just a little bit. But maybe with a little bit of gap now, we can see these guys starting to find their groove, pick their lines, and see who really does have the pace.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Nate Wessel is stuck in the middle of the Fox Proving Ground. So unfortunate for him. He was so excited to get out here and race in this series, but an unfortunate end to his first race. Meanwhile, Turcotte is powering through, but Hubert Rowland is actually starting to catch up.
Yeah, Hubert there definitely closing up. You can see it visibly, but makes a little mistake coming out of that corner. Went from that inside, looked like got on the throttle and had a little understeer, pushing out to that outside, and then had to get back out of the throttle, but didn't lose too much in that Sedona-sponsored machine. As Georgia referred to him, everybody's favorite redneck. A lot of people know him through Travis Pastrana and all that craziness.
I was going to say, he took the pace really slow there through the Sedona Tire Ripsaw Ridge, but almost underpowered it and got high-centered on that log. So Hubert lucky to pull away with that. But again, 4-wheel drive machines, those front wheels also help pull you through.
Yeah, that definitely needed all of that right there. This section now having to funnel down into a one-line area because of the stalled-out car. And we take a look at Damon Bradshaw. He's got the rubber side down again. Can he make a charge? Working his way through. Here we see the 15, Jim Beaver.
Jim Beaver, again, working his way through this course. Great character to have around these events. Of course, we love listening to him on the Down and Dirty radio show that he hosts. He is from a long lineage in motorsport, but he's working hard right now to try and catch up to the rest of the field.
And this battle up front is getting tighter and tighter.
Oh, Turcotte blocking on the line there.
Well, he has to because of the stalled out vehicle. That's making this section now go into one line. So that's taken away one of the valuable passing spots on this track. So for Hubert, he's going to have to find somewhere else. And if you're Turcotte, just try not make that mistake. That'll leave that door open or an opportunity to get underneath.
Well, speaking of underneath, he was trying to make a move there, and it looks like he's trying to do it again.
Puts him on the inside.
Wow.
So Hubert showing us he's got great pace today. He's driven a pretty masterclass start to this. As we see the halfway mandatory caution, they'll rack him and restack him.
And for more on how these machines survive the punishment they go through, let's check in with racer Andy Ives.
With the rough, tough, and muddy terrain that Terracross throws at these drivers, it's essential to have an awesome suspension package. Looking at the rear of the vehicle here, you'll notice a trailing arm suspension with 18 inches of travel. On the front of the vehicle is a dual A-arm suspension with 16 inches of travel. The other thing that's essential to keeping these vehicles running on the track is the wheel and tire package. Looking at these tires, you can see the aggressive tread pattern as well as the speed lock ring around the circumference of the wheel. That helps keep the rubber of the tire between the wheel and the ring itself to ensure they don't get flat. So again, with these vehicles running this awesome terrain out here at Terracross, you gotta have a great suspension to keep these guys going.
The course has been working that suspension all day long, and so far it's helping Brett Turcotte hold off the charge of everyone's favorite redneck, Hubert Rowland. Can Brett hold him off? We'll find out when we come back. It's a beautiful day here in North Branch, Minnesota for the WPS Fly Racing Terracross Midwest National, presented by Polaris Razor. Halfway through our Celebrity X Turbo race, Tess Sewell here alongside Grant Langston along with Georgia Lindsay. And you can see the crowd getting ready for the restart of this race. But earlier we caught up with one of our racers, Jim Beaver, on why racing is just so much darn fun.
I love racing Terracross because it's so different than what I'm used to. It takes me out of my element, out of my comfort zone, puts me into the seat of something that's so much different than I'm used to doing on a daily basis, and that's where the adrenaline kicks in for me, because whether I'm winning or I'm losing, I'm still learning. It's been an exciting process for me to get up to speed in Terracross. When I race trophy trucks in the desert, we've got a ton of horsepower, a ton of wheel travel. You can get into trouble and you've still got a lot of vehicle left that can save you and keep you out of harm's way. Terracross, just the opposite. We're down on horsepower, down on wheel travel. It's a spec series. They're stock Polaris RZRs. You get into trouble, things can happen quick. And it's all about momentum, finding the smooth line, whereas a trophy truck, it's all about having the horsepower and being able to bail yourself out and power out of corners. Terracross, it's all about momentum.
And Jim Beaver sitting in 4th place as we came into the restart here. Hubert Rowland, though, has managed to get the jump on Brett Turcotte coming into our last 5 laps of the race. Oh! Well, that ended quickly.
Oh yeah, just left the door open, and I think it might have been a little bit of contact again. Yep, wheel-to-wheel action. That doesn't normally work on these machines. These open-wheel RZRs will get tipped over, but the good thing is, little helping hand, get the wheels back on the ground. He'll be getting underway, but the big problem is he's lost a ton of ground.
Absolutely massive amount of ground when you see how well Brett Turcotte is actually maneuvering that machine through this course, coming again into the Fox Proving Grounds, and unless they can get Hubert back on the wheels quickly, he's going to lose almost a full lap.
Yeah, he's gotten going, but that has really given such a comfortable gap to our leader. Now looking behind in 2nd, I believe, is Jim Beaver. Damon Bradshaw getting in that 3rd spot. You see Bradshaw, nice little line there. He jumped through the corner, but I think he stalled it. Yeah, he did. You saw him trying to get the ignition going, and oh, the end.
Well, he's mobile, but something took him out of this race. That is really unfortunate because Hubert was pushing himself through. But there, Jim Beaver, the number 15, you heard him talk about racing and how much he enjoys it earlier. He's raced everything, trophy trucks, rally cars, and he's managing to keep himself away from Damon Bradshaw, but I'm wondering if Bradshaw has a bit more of a problem. Oh. And as I say that, he zooms past.
The only problem Bradshaw's got is a ton of speed. He wanted that pass. He ran it up the inside. Bradshaw's been running a great pace. Besides that mistake earlier on that left him deep in the pack, his actual lap times have been really tremendous. In fact, fastest lap of the race for Damon Bradshaw, but I think it's going to be too little too late as time is winding down.
You're watching Jim Beaver work through that really heavy log section, and it is amazing just how much that works the machine over. Brett Turcotte, though, out in clear air.
White flag for Turcotte, 1 lap to go. And you said it right there, Tess. You can obviously drive these things as hard as you want. You can hit the section wide open, but if you stick that front end into the wrong spot, it will eventually break something. These machines are very tough, but still running production. See Turcotte not taking any chances there. Gets that RZR straightened up. Comes into this left-hander. Couple turns to go. He'll win the celebrity class. It's going to be a great feeling for him, especially with that stiff competition. We thought Damon Bradshaw was going to be tough to beat, but this guy showed us he could do it.
Here we go. Makes the turn, takes the checkered flag. Brett Turcotte winning the Celebrity X Turbo Final, and a great run for him. He had some challenge from Hubert. He had the challenge from Damon Bradshaw, managed to hold them both off. And now we're watching Jim Beaver work his way around, holding off Bradshaw.
Yeah, he has. Bradshaw was in the mix there, but obviously losing a little bit of time here towards the end of the race. Great drive for Beaver in that runner-up spot. And Damon Bradshaw should be rounding out the podium. Yes, there he is. So there's your top 3.
So Beaver comes across the line. We can see Damon Bradshaw's machine seem to be limping in the background, but he will make it across that line and take that 3rd place. There you have it, the Terracross Championship Celebrity X Turbos. Brett Turcotte taking his first win. Jim Beaver managing to negotiate his way through to second. And the beast from the East, Damon Bradshaw, in third place. Great ride start to finish, though, for Brett Turcotte. He held off all challengers, and he's down with Georgia Lindsay.
Brett Turcotte taking the first win for today for you. Let's talk about the whole shot first off. What's so important to get a good start? Because, I mean, you did both times have really good starts.
Yeah, you know, the first start there was pretty gnarly. We were just dicing for positions, me and Damon, and I just scooted up the inside and found a line. I almost cartwheeled my buggy in the first quad section, and I just tried to put together a bunch of clean laps. Then all of a sudden the redneck's behind me and scoots by me just before the finish at the mandatory caution. And then I was like, oh man, like, where is he catching me? And lined up behind him and just kind of followed his line for, you know, the first 3/4 of the race, or the first lap. And yeah, we just kind of crossed past there. I feel bad. I was on the inside off of the big triple, and he swept from the outside down onto me, and he went for a bit of a tumble. But I mean, the buggy ran great, and it's pretty fun out there. So it's really, it's just a big RC car, and we're just out here having a blast.
Well, congratulations. Well done.
So the former snowcross pro from Clearwater, British Columbia, takes the win in the celebrity class. Coming up next, though, it's the big boys, the Odyssey Battery Turbo 1000. They will be on the line when we return.
Terracross on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by TerracrossRacing.com. Affordable entertainment television. By E3 Spark Plugs, born to burn. And by Lucas Oil, made in America, sold to the world.
We're back at Heydays in North Branch, Minnesota for the WPS Fly Racing Terracross Midwest National, presented by Polaris Razor. Getting ready for the Odyssey Battery Turbo 1000 class. Tess Sewell alongside Grant Langston and Georgia Lindsay. We are getting ready for the start of our next race, and on a technical track like this, the start is so important. For more about that, let's check in with some of our racers.
The start with Terracross, it's really all about your reaction time. Being able to really watch the flag. As soon as it drops, you're down, hammer down, get out there.
But then again, reacting fast, you also got to be there at the end of the race. You're thinking you got to save the car, but I think you also have to be aggressive and be aggressive in the right spots. And I think the best thing to do is to get some breathing room so you can run those faster lines.
Got to get through those first couple of corners, because if you're not starting on the front row, you're just blind for at least the first half a lap.
They've made that a rule where we aren't allowed to pass until we get through the corner. It's going to be just getting through that first corner without anything happening, and then not having someone behind you come up and hit you or something crazy. And after that, it's just getting out front as fast as you can and having a smooth race.
So there you have it, getting ready for the start now. The Odyssey Battery Turbo 1000 Pro class, and heavily favored in this race is Ronnie Anderson, and Georgia has caught up with him.
Standing on the start line with Ronnie Anderson. Now, Ronnie, you've watched the first 3 motos, and we've seen a lot of issues with the buggies. What's the main thing you got to do to kind of stop that happening?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to conserve a little bit, but just gonna send it. These guys are all fast, so I've got some lines picked out over in the back section, and hopefully they work out for me.
Just gonna send it. That's your key to the race?
Yeah, just gonna send it. Out here to have some fun, so just gonna send it, and with the boys over here.
Well, best of luck. Thank you.
Ronnie, 17 years old, out of Riverside, California, has pretty much a perma smile on his face, Grant.
Yeah, he sure does. Younger brother to RJ Anderson. So coming from a family of racers, this kid with a ton of talent. James Hill also on the front row there. See the rest of the field, Luberg, Mikkelsen, and Kotu. That'll round out your top 5. Let's see how they do on the start. We'll be on our Odyssey Battery on board with James Hill, a local boy in Southern California from Lake Elsinore. Green flag, here we go.
That was a great view of the start. You could see that flag whips up quickly, and they are off and racing here. Anderson taking the early lead over James Hill.
Yeah, great battle. It's still not quite done yet. A little bit side-by-side action, but I think he's got it nailed now. And whoa, what a jump there from Luberg. And Luberg, someone that knows a lot about tracks and how to build them, he gets through, and oh, James Hill, another spot, left that door open, so 1 minute he looked like he might have a shot at the lead, and now all the way down to 4th.
And that was an amazing pass. You see the yellow and black machine there of Jason Luberg, who builds our tracks. And Luberg over. Wow, a mistake. That is very, very unusual for Jason Luberg to make that kind of mistake.
Watch when he comes in this turn. He starts that bicycle pretty early and wasn't quite able to counter steer it that well because of how steep that berm has been formed. It becomes a bit of a wall, so he couldn't counter steer that hard into it. And what that's done is given some really good breathing room for Ronnie Anderson. Now the battle will ensue for second. How about that? Cole sneaking through, but he look. Oh, you can see he's got a bent tie rod there. Saw one of the wheels facing inwards, and you can see the bent underneath. See, really struggling in the corners. I don't know how much longer he'll be able to continue with that.
I don't think Cole Coutu is going to be able to hold off James Hill. Coutu taking advantage of the chaos there when Luberg went over. Hill now makes the pass for second place.
And I think Coutu pulled into the pits there, realizing that it would probably not finish and just do more damage. Yes, he has pulled off. You can see that bent tie rod down below, unable to keep the wheels basically going in a straight direction. So that's, once again, just spread the field out quite quickly in the beginning as we're looking at James Hill there in his lonely second position. Anderson stretched it out quite nicely already.
Working our way through our Odyssey Battery Turbo 1000 race right now. Ronnie Anderson over James Hill in third place currently. Chet Michelson. It's going to be a fight to the finish. Be sure to come back and join us. Welcome back, everyone, to the WPS Fly Racing Terracross Midwest National, presented by Polaris Razor. You see, the #1 Ziegler Cat machine of Jason Luberg finally gets refired. He is off and running to chase down Ronnie Anderson and the rest of the crew. But that's going to be a pretty tall order, Grant.
Yeah, it is. But, you know, we've seen it. A lot of mistakes today from a lot of the drivers. But with that also said, this guy up front has not made any mistakes or put a foot wrong. He looks cool, calm, and collected. Green flag, waving. Everything is smooth. He said he had some lines, and you can see a couple different sections sort of taking that unorthodox line as we see the E3 of Chet Michelson. He is out of this one. So,
but check this out. That is actually Jason Luberg now chasing down James Hill. So that mandatory stop we had at the halfway point really helped out Jason Luberg, and he is in the hunt.
Luberg just launched that jump there. Hear the crowd's reaction. This is the battle on the track at the moment.
Jason Luberg, a multi-time series champion here in Terracross. He knows how to work this track because he builds the track, and we sat down with him earlier to hear a little more about it.
I build the track, and I have built the tracks for the last 3 years, here and everywhere we've been with Terracross. I always try to push the boundaries of what everyone else thinks their Razor can do, because I don't even know what these things can do, and I push the boundaries of them all the time. I race them every weekend almost. Once I build it, everyone runs on it, and then I like to hear what everyone says, and then I go out and fix it, and just keep molding it like we did all day today until racing tomorrow, to where everyone has a fair chance to tell me what they want, and usually I incorporate that. So then it's kind of everybody's track. We're here to have fun and to put on a good show, so everybody tomorrow is going to go out there, and they can't wait. You know, they're going to be excited tonight to race tomorrow.
And I'm not sure there, but for Luberg, that was another instant where it seemed like it's jumping out of gear. You heard him trying to find a gear there. So keep an eye on that, because that's now the second or third time we've seen him come to a standstill. Maybe there's a bigger issue.
Well, we see how hard Jason Luberg drives. I mean, he said it himself in that interview. He really pushes the boundaries, and he's certainly been doing it here today. I absolutely love this fly racing onboard, because you can see how the perspective of the landscape just keeps changing, because they orient themselves vertically, they're backwards, they're forwards. Ronnie Anderson, though, he is powering through this race.
He just looks so good out front there. Looks like this guy came from a supercross background. His timing over these jumps is just amazing. He's landing smooth, back on the gas, very efficient. White flag out, last lap for Ronnie. As now we have a look at our Odyssey battery on board with James Hill. Having a solid drive at the moment, holding on to that runner-up position. And you see Luberg still hanging on in the background. See if he has any more issues with that shifting. So far, nothing yet. Holding on to that third spot.
And here, Ronnie Anderson on the step up and step down. He will go through the Sedona Tire Ripsaw Ridge for the final time. Manages to squeak over, makes the right-hand turn, and Ronnie Anderson in that Walker Evans machine takes the win in our Odyssey Battery Turbo 1000 class. James Hill comes over in second place, holding off the hard-charging Jason Luberg in third. Awesome racing here today out at North Branch. When we return, we'll catch up with all of our winners. Be sure not to miss it.
Terracross on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Polaris RZR. Fuel your freedom. By Sedona Tire and Wheel. And by Lucas Oil. Made in America. Sold to the world.
We're back in beautiful North Branch, Minnesota, an hour north of the Twin Cities for the WPS Fly Racing Terracross Midwest National, presented by Polaris RZR. Tess Sewell alongside Grant Langston and Georgia Lindsay. And let's take a look at the results from that Odyssey Battery Turbo 1000 class. A win for Ronnie Anderson over James Hill and Jason Luberg. Luberg, though, Grant, he was fighting so hard to push himself through that track.
Yeah, he was really close towards the end, had a couple opportunities, but looked like he may have had a couple mechanical issues. Hopefully he'll get that sorted out for tomorrow's racing. And we will send it down to our podium interviews with Georgia Lindsay.
Ronnie Anderson, you said before the race you were gonna send it. You did. It just seemed like smooth sailing for you out there.
Oh yeah, definitely send it. Had good racing with these guys for a little, but just tried to be smooth sailing my car for the next 4 races, and we're just trying to go as fast as I can, but I also keep the car together, because that's what this is all about, keeping the car together as long as you can, but still going fast at the same time. So had a lot of fun with all these stock cars, so everyone is equal on an equal playing field, and it's all about the driver. So had lots of fun. Thanks to all my sponsors, Walker Evans Racing, Polaris RZR, South Point, Terracross for putting on this awesome event. Everyone else, thank you.
Congratulations, well done.
Well, he's not only going to win the award for first place in the race, but I think he wins the award for speed talking too. Ronnie Anderson, great victory for him today. And in second place, another Californian. California 1-2. Georgia is down on the track with James Hill.
James Hill taking second place. Now, we've seen a lot of issues with the buggies and mechanical failures. Seem to keep it smooth. Is that just important out here?
For me it is, yeah. Terracross gets rough really fast, and you can see the amount of cars that break out. So obviously you want to be as fast as you can be, but I tend to play it safe, because in the middle of the race, especially with the caution, it gives us another chance to work towards the front. So these guys are fast, and it's tough competition today, so a lot of fun.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
A lot of fun, a lot of hard racing. Grant, just amazing what these machines can push through.
Yes, these racers were on it today, and so were so many of the drivers. Special thanks to Snow Barons, Heydays, Ziegler Caterpillar, BP, and MAV TV.
This has been Terracross Racing from North Branch. For Grant Langston and Georgia Lindsay, this is Tess Sewell saying thanks for joining us, and be sure to come back and watch more Terracross Racing.